Good morning, my brothers and sisters. Welcome to episode number 5 in the book of Romans. I'm going to title today, Learning to Love Wrath. And sometimes around election day, people walk around and they've got this little sticker on them. And the sticker says, I voted today. Or sometimes you'll see somebody with a little sticker on their chest and it says, I quit, referring to I quit smoking. Well, today our little sticker is going to say, I love God's wrath, or at least we're going to head towards loving God's wrath. It follows up this beautiful passage, the theme of Romans in 16 and 17, in chapter 1, for I am not ashamed of the gospel, for it is the power of God for salvation to everyone who believes, to the Jew first and also to the Greek. So it's the introduction of the gospel and the power of God and the rescue that God has to the Jew first and to the Greek, so for everybody. And then it says the gospel, 17, for in it, the gospel, the righteousness of God is revealed from faith, for as it is written, the righteous shall live by faith. So it kind of shows you the roadmap to the rescue plan. Well, the next verse, here it is, verse 18, for the wrath of God is revealed. For the wrath of God is revealed from heaven against all ungodliness and unrighteousness of men, who by their unrighteousness suppress the truth. So we see this pushback now, for the wrath of God is being revealed. So what is wrath? I'm going to give you a working definition. We'll probably modify this as we go along. But here's what I think wrath is. I think this is a good way to understand it, at least to start to understand it. The wrath of God is the holy disposition of God's mind towards anger and justice as an appropriate response to sin. Similarly, wrath is the holy disposition of God's actions towards justice and punishment as an appropriate response to sin. So God doesn't like sin, and don't you just love him for it? That's kind of where we're going with this. So I'd love to get to the point where we all say, maybe after we finish Romans, I love God's wrath. It's a theme of Romans. It's in Romans 10. The word is in there 10 times that there's a day of wrath and that it is of God. It's godly. It's godly wrath. So this shouldn't surprise us. And don't we want a just God? Don't we want fairness? Don't we want a fair God? Don't we want a God that does wrath right? Now, we obviously don't do wrath well. Humans do this wrong almost always. But God does it right. He is righteous. And what we're going to see in Romans is wrath rightly applied. So the law already has brought wrath. So this isn't like, hey, I don't want to learn about wrath. You're already in wrath. So we're not really waiting for it. We're already in it. And that's the junior version, at least. And we're going to get the senior version later on. So we already have it, or at least we deserve it. And we're already sentenced to it. So we probably should learn about it and learn how to get out of it. It's the appropriate sentence of wrath. And we're in it now. We can be saved. And here's one of the great themes about the book of Romans is that we can be saved from God's wrath. What? There's a way out of this? How do we get out of this? Well, I'll give you a little hint. It's about Jesus and about his blood and its suffering. But first, you got to start with the bad news. It actually starts with the good news. I'm not ashamed of the gospel, for it's the power of God. And then he tells you why there's good news, because there's bad news. So God is patient with us vessels of wrath. And he's going to tell us how we can get out of it in the book of Romans. So Romans is a book about the study or the consideration or putting ourselves humbly before, submissively before, and maybe even eagerly before the wrath of God. I put myself eagerly before the wrath of God. So putting ourselves before the wrath of God, and ultimately, let's learn to love wrath. Why is that? Well, wrath is the beginning of rescue, and wrath is the end of rebellion. And wrath is the beginning of the gospel, and wrath is the end of sin. So wrath is the study of God and his response and his rescue. So it's a study of ourselves, and it's also the study of God. So Romans starts with the gospel, ... and wrath. The verse says, "For the wrath of God is revealed from heaven against all ungodliness and unrighteousness of men." Remember, Romans is a book about God. It is the elephant of his revelation of himself. And we talked before a couple days ago, is that it is an elephant that is meant to be eaten. God desires us to eat this book, eat him, consume his characteristics, learn about him. So part of the elephant is rainbows. And if you want to do that, go to Genesis chapter 9. You'll literally learn about rainbows. But today, what he wants us to know, or at least start to know, is about his wrath. So God desires for us to know his wrath, and he's revealed it now, and he's going to reveal it later, so we better learn about it now. So the working definition is wrath is the holy disposition of God's mind towards anger and justice as an appropriate response to sin. So if you love salvation, you're going to love wrath. If you love God's justice, you're going to love God's wrath. So here's my prayer. Lord, please bend our minds, bend our understanding towards the appropriate understanding of wrath. And let us someday be able to put a sticker on us that says, I am learning to love God's wrath. So today we just put ourselves before your wrath, the wrath of God. Welcome to Romans.